Okay, welcome to YellowBuckets News. Back here with Brandon, YB, YellowBuckets, Baby Kid YellowBuckets, and we're just going to be going over the news as usual. So since we're from Western Michigan University, Kalamazoo, we're going to kind of cover that first as a priority, and then Michigan on up. You guys kind of already got that idea from us that we do that. So Tim Lester is our new head football coach here at Western. He set some records for MAC, for our own school. He was a former quarterback here. So he'll probably be pretty good on the offensive, given his good background with it. Kind of what we don't kind of need, because given that the Cotton Bowl or defense game was, not so great. But,
subpar at best.
If we can keep that offense game up, at least, I'd say that's a little, I don't know enough about football, but maybe offense game is a little more important.
No. Our defense was at best, subpar.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
At the Cotton Bowl game. I feel like, that's a place for improvement, when we actually do step up in actual competition, that's important as hell, and so, him being actually, offensive-minded guy isn't bad, but at the same time, it's it's not the person that I wanted. I wanted, Les Miles from, LSU, good coach, but, but you take, what you got, and, we're excited anyway, because we had a great record last year, so we're trying to actually, keep it going.
Yeah, hopefully we can, be strong this year. I don't think we can ever redo what we did, but especially because we have Zach Terrell going. He was a really good
wide receiver.
Pretty good dude.
What?
I was just looking at the video and stream analytics. My bad, guys. Just I'll change that setting some other time. It doesn't really matter. So let's get into actual politics news. We just wanted to bring that up for our WMU friends who may or may not watch us. So we're gonna start with, and also sorry we didn't do headlines today. We wanted to be on at 10. We were a little late to that. So we're just gonna kind of hope that
we're slacking, but it's okay.
It's okay. School started, so we'll kind of get a good rhythm of how to do things. And today I was supposed to get started on things earlier, but a lot of things were a little unexpected today that I wanted to get done. So it is what it is. So anyhow, Ann Arbor rep that is Democrat. He wants to rebuild the Democratic brand as caucus chairman in Michigan here. His name is Adam Zemke. He has been chosen to lead the House Democratic Caucus as chairman for the next 2 years. Zemke's first act as caucus chairman was to appoint State Rep Jewel Jones. He's 21 from Inkster. He used to serve as a council member for Inkster City, but he's going to be his deputy chairman.
So,
yeah. So that's going to be really cool because
21.
Yeah, he's young.
21-year-old.
He may not be the most experienced, but you got to get the experience at some point. You know what I'm saying? You got to. And at least he was in politics before. It's not like he went from state rep to, he didn't go from nothing to state rep. So he's had his name out there. He's been kind of grinding. And he knows what he's doing.
Did they actually, outline any, main, policy goals?
I didn't read anything like that.
They wanted to actually tackle, or, what are some of, the ones you think that are, mostly important, just to actually rebuild, the brand at least.
I think rebuilding the brand is the best thing they can do right now, because that's the only way they're gonna get
towards
anything.
What though?
They gotta, for me, be more have a more progressive brand like Sanders' platform was. Because if they don't have that, which I think seemed to vibe very well in Michigan, he narrowly won Michigan in the primary, but that shows that his populist message, especially with trade deals, was resonating in a lot of the state, and anti-corruption. I think I hear a lot about from Michiganders that they are not a big fan of corruption. Well, who is to begin with? But that it's a consideration to have. Zemke is also considering a state run for Senate in 2018 because he's going to be termed out after
Who's
this term.
Is he actually?
It's in that dude. A move that could put him against former Rep. Jeff Irwin of Ann Arbor, who is considering running, and then Senator Rebecca Warren, who served for Ann Arbor as senator, will be term limited that time. So it'll be up against him and this Jeff Irwin fellow and whoever the GOP decides, if they decide to put someone up. I'm not sure how liberal that area is. I'm pretty sure it leans pretty far left, but I could see some libertarian-esque type people coming out of there because, you know, you don't have, because it's like a university area, so you're going to have a lot more liberals. But you also have a lot of people who, you know, I think are more concerned with tax policy and independence and stuff like that, and being free, because there's a lot of marijuana is very decriminalized around there.
Always marijuana, like
hash bash. Well, I mean, that's just like one little thing. So like that gives me the connotation that they may lean more libertarian, and a lot of people who are intellectual like to lean libertarian
freedom, you mean,
and believe in personal freedom. So there's that component. So there's that. Next thing going on in Michigan is there's a bill that would eliminate daylight savings time in Michigan. This bill would also put parts of the UP that's in Central Time to actually be in Eastern Standard Time too. So that way there's some uniformity within the state. This is sponsored by Rep. Peter Lucido, who's actually a Republican from Shelby Township. I think I'm around from Shelby Township, if I recall correctly where that is. That's
it's like an actual, rationale actually.
There's no reason anymore, according to some research the article was talking about.
What was the purpose actually behind it? At
farmers first? And like it helped with like saving electricity.
Oh, okay.
But that's no longer necessitated by having it. The only complaint I would have about it is I would like to see it gone, but if Michigan's only on that tip, and every other state's like, if we're in Michigan and then Ohio's like an hour ahead because they never changed, like that's just gonna be kind of weird. So I don't know how it's gonna work out. I just kind of, if we do it, I hope more uniformity will come later than sooner, so that the confusion's a little bit better. I would imagine there's gonna be some business issues with, okay, when is this package gonna get to, or the shipment gonna get to various places? Not even for personal shipments, just for any type of business shipping. So I don't know how that's gonna play out. It'd be interesting. If any updates come up on that, I actually probably would like to bring that up again. Some fiscal experts predict that modestly more tax revenue will be brought into Michigan in the next few years. State revenue falls into two broad categories. I'm quoting the article, by the way, just because it was a little easier for me to remember this, because it's a new understanding for me. There's the general fund, which funds things like state agencies, and the school aid fund, which provides funding for school districts and some higher education. Net general fund revenue for fiscal law. So there's that, and then the net general fund revenue for fiscal year 2018, which begins October 1st of this year, is now pegged at 10.5 billion up from the current fiscal year's projected 10.29 billion. So it's marginal, but I think that's like what 2.1 more billion. So that's kind of cool. I don't know how nice that is, but it's modest, as the article is saying. And it's projected to climb slightly to 10.59 billion in fiscal year 2019. So it's going to be an upward trend, which is nice.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. But you always like wonder actually, what that money's,
going to be used for.
Yeah.
Because we do know a lot of. I've read articles about how, and heard from political friends and junkies and our state rep in Kalamazoo, John Hoadley, he's saying that we're going to have more money this year, but we're going to spend less on roads than we did last year because of like inflation and stuff,
right,
and the way pricing goes. So it's like we're getting more money, but we're not spending it correctly on roads, which is really necessitated in Michigan.
Yeah.
Because of our weather.
It's just garbage here.
And then the net school aid fund revenue for fiscal year 2018 is pegged at 12.78 billion, up from the current fiscal year's projected 12.48 billion. It's projected to hit 13.1 billion in fiscal year 2019. So the school funds are on an upward trend, which has inherently happen. It can't stay static because of inflation. So it's a good thing. But with that, which is I'm kind of happy, I transition to this next story. Michigan income tax would be phased out under first 2017 House bill. Did you have anything on the last story real quick? But I felt like moving to this would be
That no.
Okay, so I'm going to read some notes on this real quick. The bill HB 4001 was introduced by Rep. Lee Chatfield, Republican of Levering. I'm not sure where that is. It would roll back the state's income tax to 3.9% in 2018 and decrease by 0.1% each year beginning in 2019 until it reaches zero. I don't know a whole lot about tax policy and stuff like this, and I would like to know more about that, obviously.
Yeah,
that's one of my complaints about myself doing this kind of show, but
yeah,
it is what it is. I don't
you
know.
will learn as we go, but
with this, one second, I'm sorry for interrupting you. See what I have to say real quick. With us getting a upward trend in tax revenue, I'm kind of afraid that this would just roll that back, and then we're going to be in the pickle that we were before. But I'll hand it back over to you.
Yeah, like the main argument I hear is like, lowering taxes, lowering them for rich people, and doesn't actually, which God help us out as all because of actually which God, trickle down economics, and actually it's not actually helping out the poor or the actual, middle class a lot. Then we have the, if you actually which God, eliminate the tax, like the rich won't pay their fair share at all, and the poor won't have money to spend, and they won't actually like drive the economy. And so like I know like there's always this battle of like what's best to actually create revenue and actually give people more money in their pockets to spend. Myself, I don't believe it's the government's job to actually say what we are allowed to do with our money, but that's a whole other conversation entirely. But to actually eliminate it, right, like the tax rate for everybody, or
what? It'll be for everyone.
Okay, see, the problem with that is I think like that your actual economy has to be like strong enough, at least across the board first, and you have to be like experiencing like years of actual
upward trending.
Yes, and like what you got earnings and stuff, and like showing actual steady progress in that, and then actually you can actually like look towards that. But yeah.
So what I would just say is, me and him had a disagreement there, but we don't want to get to that conversation because we have a lot of news right now. But I don't like the idea entirely because for me it's like the most of the money that probably does get taxed and goes into the fund, I would imagine, probably does come from the upper middle class on up. So a lot of that money is going to be gone because they aren't paying that tax anymore.
Right.
Not to mention that they probably already do get some favors because of what they do for subsidies and tax breaks and various yada yada. And then it's just like, proportion of their money is like their needs are covered way early into the year because of how much they already rake in. So, and then these poor folk are basically what they're taxed on is proportionally
the essentials.
Yeah, so
roads, schools.
So it's like they're already paying a bigger proportion of their income as is. So that's like, that's also part of the other conversation. But I just want to bring that up. So it's just very we'll have to see what happens. I could see I could see it not happening because you have a lot of Republicans who are just like, no, we can't do that. It's kind of unrealistic. I don't know who this guy is.
They want that.
In the context. They probably do want that, but they do realize the current state of affairs does not permit such a move.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to national news. We have a lot of Politico Sources. So let's get through those. So the Intelligence Committee will investigate possible Russia-Trump links. until Chairman Burr reverses his position. A day before he reversed his position, he was like, "No, we're not going to do this." And it seems that his mind had been changed. They're not only looking at Trump though; they're looking at all of the political campaigns and the ties. So I mean, that's important. That's impartial. I agree. Maybe there's a bombshell that the Clinton campaign was working with Russia to do something like this, but that is so beyond possible because it's very clear that Putin.
Trump got elected, so like anything's possible.
Yeah, so it's very clear that Putin does favor Trump,
right?
And it's not like he wanted to deal with Hillary, so it's not
right.
like it just wouldn't make any sense. So,
right.
but for say for impartiality's sake, they're doing that, which is important. They may subpoena Obama administration and Trump's team, and that's all we really know about it. I don't really want to get into that fiasco. There's so much going on.
Yeah,
with that.
There's so much.
And a lot of it is like, who knows? I really don't. Like, I just want to see some proof.
There's a lot of things going on with that. I would only say, like your favorite, neocons, I believe, your actual, Marco Rubio's, Little Marco, John McCain's, your actual, Lindsey Graham's, and your actual, hardliners on Russia are, like, whether there's actually, proof or not on it. Like, I feel like they're going to, like, use this as an actual pretense to actually, crack down on Russia and, like, actually, create even, like, way worse relations than we have with them now. When a few years ago, the actual Democrats were like United is actually hostile towards Russia, and now that they are, like it's a bad optic for the president just actually have a friendly view towards the country like that when everyone else is determined to crack down on them and see them as an actual hostile player in the world, like regardless of their human rights violations and suppression of the press and stuff like that. Yeah, but we just want proof. Like, I'm sorry, that's all I want out of this is proof.
There was one thing I would like to recommend. Adam Kahn on Twitter. His name is like Connoisseur or whatever. He's obviously, I'm not completely endorsing the conspiracy theory, but he's been doing some interesting tweeting about linking Trump and Russia. He's looking at all kinds of stuff. He has a big web picture now, like just like a web people tied together.
What was he talking about?
Oh, it's crazy, bro. I should show you. But no, he's
give a brief
It is so much. I've been tweeting at him to give me like a whole thing because it's just long threads, and I'll show you his Twitter. I'm surprised I didn't see my retweets because I retweeted. And then Anonymous talked about Assange. That's a whole different.
Come on,
bro. He's not even a journalist right now. I don't even know what he does. I just want him to hook me up with them deets. For real.
Right.
So Democrats confront FBI director over Clinton-Trump probes. Democrats are frustrated over Comey not being upfront about whether or not FBI is probing into Russian hacking. Comey hasn't said, he's not saying I am or I am not, which is screwing the Democrats up. They're frustrated, and so they're the DOJ is kind of looking at him to see why he released that thing, I think like the weekend before the election or the week before the election. I forget how close it was to the election. That letter, though, that letter could have literally costed the election, but who knows? Trump was freaking crazy with the way he could drop and then gain in the polls. It was crazy. People were so undecided. It was blowing my mind. I was like,
yeah.
All I would say about this is non-story type thing.
Yeah, like it's a non-story, but at the same time, it's like the actual aftermath of the elections have shown us how actually politicized the whole executive branch has become in terms of their goals and agendas are not towards actually solving crimes anymore, because it's towards political motivations, depending on what party's in office and what party controls, that actual branch of government, and it goes to actually show you that, I think at least, like the actual expansion of that exact office has created a lot more problems in the sense of us actually, fo- focusing on objective problems moving forward, and I think that's just kind of sad in the sense that like we are spending so much time talking about non-stories, and so it's like we never actually focus on the the actual issues anymore. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, certainly. So let's move on to the next headline because that story is just getting tired for me. Fox News analyst jumps into DNC chair race. Democratic political commentator and media strategist Jim, butcher her name probably, Jimu Green has joined.
Black?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Has joined the field of the candidates running for chair of the DNC. She is running against Rep. Keith Ellison, seems to be a particular favorite, South Carolina Party Chairman James Harrison, New Hampshire Democratic Party Chairman Roy Buckley, Libertarian Secretary Tom Perez, who seems to be an establishment favorite, Idaho Democratic Party Executive Director Sally Borenton Brown, and South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg. I think South Bend is Michigan, or no, that's Indiana.
Yes.
So it's like I didn't even know this many people in the race. It's all about Keith. That's all I see.
So do we actually know?
I don't know anything about her. I just felt like I'd bring it up because I didn't see it in the news at all. So I felt like
read the article?
I read the article. It just didn't talk about her. It's literally all it said.
I don't know. I guess.
Trying to hoe me and stuff.
No, I'm not too familiar with these actually, Democratic candidates, but it's always fun to watch.
Infighting.
Yeah. Like the infighting, at least like on the actual grassroots level, and the actual establishment level, and who's actually sticking to
their guns.
Yeah, their guns, and like who's actually really actually principled or not in the race. So it should be a fun one to watch. To say
that'll happen next month.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Pretty.
Let's get ready to rumble then.
So House passes Mattis waiver 268 votes to 151. Pretty clear favorite. The article said narrowly. I'm like, I don't think it's really narrow. That's a 100-vote difference. And then some. And then he's really passed the Senate. I wish I could. I was trying to look up who all voted.
Well, it was down, party lines in the actual House, I assume.
Yeah, right? It was a little more down party lines.
Yeah.
But I think 30-some Democrats voted for him. Obama will sign the bill too, so Obama doesn't mind. But the one problem with the bill is it does not mention Mattis by name, raising concern that this leaves room for people in the future to be exempt from the 7-year rule. So I mean, there's that kind of issue.
Well, didn't he actually need a waiver just because the time length that he had to actually serve out of?
Yeah, he's
the military didn't expire
7+ years. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But I just don't like that the bill doesn't mention him specifically, because then that may open the door for anyone else.
Okay.
And I really like him.
Thoughts on him though?
He's awesome. I don't know a whole lot about him. All of my military friends are really happy about him, even my very far left friends. They think he's They even think he's a little. I mean, because most people on the far left tend to be non-interventionists.
Yeah.
They do think he's a little aggressive when it comes to Iran, but I mean, it is what it is. You can't have someone who's perfect.
Right.
And out of anyone who's worth anything, he's worth something out of this administration's cabinet.
Right.
So he's gonna be a cool dude. I know Flynn didn't like him being in there because he outranks him.
Flynn's a little bit
yourself, boy.
Flynn's a little bit out there, he's a little bit, I'm not trying to slander him, but like he's a little bit, Alex Jonesy. Like,
Oh, for real? I didn't
to
know
be
that.
honest, he's a little bit Alex Jonesy. Yeah, it's.
Shake my head.
I'm just saying, like he's a little bit. Oof. Yeah, but there's an actual concern that God Emperor Trump is like appointing a tad bit too many actually what you got.
Warhawks.
Yeah, Warhawks, actual generals to his cabinet, defense advisors and what you call it, Homeland Security. So like that's something just to actually watch out for.
So moving on, the GOP governors fight their own party on Obamacare. I didn't take any notes on from this article. So basically what I got from the article, they don't know what they're gonna do with all these folk in their state when it comes to making sure they're still receiving adequate health benefits. Because a lot of Obamacare, has to do with Medicaid and Medicare,
Right.
and a lot of that's kind of carried out by the states as well. So they just have some infighting they're going to be doing. Kasich was very outspoken about even getting rid of it without a replacement. So we'll see how that all boils out.
Yeah.
So we're moving on to the Intercept now, one of my favorite sites, to be honest, for news. Rex Tillerson wants to provide Saudi Arabia with more help to bomb Yemen. Saudis began bombing Yemen in March of 2015, and over the time of Obama's administration, he has squeezed Saudis of various military capital, such as intelligence, as a response to their inhumanity, but they really don't care. Problem with the bombs they're using cluster bombs, which can go off weeks or days or months after they've landed. They've been hitting civilians a lot because they aren't very good at aiming.
They're illegal
apparently.
under international law.
They're illegal under international law, but who cares about Saudi Arabia because they got all that oil.
And we gave them to them, but
different story.
I'll comment on that. I'm sipping tea right now.
Sipping tea, boy. So that's a clear problem with Tillerson. Yeah. Dude's a hawk.
Yeah, he is a hawk, and that's not the only concern. Like he had a deal for like oil and like the with Russia that was actually frozen by Obama by the sanctions he put on them for invading Crimea, right? Yeah, for invading Crimea, for invading them, and the actual concern is, it's a real concern is that Trump's gonna actually lift them up and say, oh well, trust me, believe me, great deal now. Which of course is bad in the sense that it looks like he just appointed them because he gave them money, which it looks like more and more that was the case, and it's bad because he's saying that we who are ourselves breaking, international law and funding Saudi Arabia to bomb Yemen, who is going through a famine right now, like a total famine, and like they're being like starved out, and he's saying like, yeah, that's okay though, which is not, but more to come on that as we bomb 7 countries, I believe it is: Yemen, Iraq, Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, Somalia, maybe
too many.
Yeah, and Syria.
So we'll see. Just hopefully he doesn't get appointed. There's enough senators, the GOP senators, who are very questioning him. So Trump won't give up his brand to be president. There's like some facets that they wanted him to step away from, but he didn't. He's still not going to have a lot of control, but his sons will be in control, and a high executive in his company will be. And one of the problems with that is, sure they aren't communicating with him, but if he reads any news about himself, he's gonna already know, and then he's gonna call up his sons, and then he's gonna be like, "You should do that."
What's going on?
What's going on, boys? This is not tremendous, believe me.
Right.
I don't know. It's just a huge conflict of interest for him to keep these businesses. I don't know why we're allowing it. The ethics office has been all over him, but Shafitz. Oh my God, whatever. My bad. So Chaffetz is
Permanente,
even wanting to subpoena the ethics head because of his criticism of Trump, saying that it's like not right. But I mean, that's his freaking job, bro. Like, chill out, man.
Well, I read that that he actually released the actual statement about Trump and his businesses before he even actually announced the plans to actually
I read this was
put them
post
inside
plans,
an actual trust
or he
fund.
might have already got the plans before he did the press conference, so he might have already been able to say such a thing.
That's not what I heard, but okay.
It sounded like he made it post, but
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. So we'll confirm that for yourselves,
Right.
because we don't know for sure. So let's move on to some Reuters news. Trump team struggles for cohesion on tougher China policy. They wish to make a naval buildup in East Asia because China's been making those man-made islands to make military bases. Mattis disagrees with Tillerson, heavily escalating with China. And another thing they want to do is they want to pressure China to be more aggressive with North Korea. I agree with that component at least, because North Korea is getting crazy. North Korea does not have the capacity to send any bombs.
Right.
Like, it's
they don't.
It's just not going to happen. We'll blow it up in the sky.
That fat man is just no.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
He doesn't want it though. No. I would say the conflict between China and actually Japan is not an issue with me, of course, but North Korea, of course, is always a problem. At the end of the day, I would say they're not a huge threat to us because they're mostly cut off from the world and most trade except from the actual Asian allies. I would say the actual disagreement does actually show that Trump's actual cabinet picks are not in
unison.
Yeah, unison, or at least every single foreign policy idea that they have. So there's a healthy disagreements there, and I think that's always a good thing because the actual the constant escalation in every single sphere of the world is not always good, and so sometimes caution and non-interventionism is good, and a wait and see approach is necessary, even though it may not be popular or wanted at all. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So, U.S. Republicans have started to make the framework, or maybe they haven't, but they're saying they are, for Obamacare replacement. It should be repealed by January 27th. Replacement plan outlined the same week. So we'll see what is up with that. I don't think you would have any comments on that. It's a brief thing.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it as it unfolds. So after Trump tweets, ethics office to U.S. employees do not endorse products. He endorsed LL Bean, but I believe from what I gathered from the article, he is exempt from that rule. That federal employees cannot make such statements. I personally think he should not do this too much because he's president and should be impartial as possible in some regards to businesses, endorsements, or even negative blasts even. So it's just really dependent on context. Because he is a figurehead, he's supposed to say what he has to say. I think federal employees is a little different because they are kind of representative in some regard of what he thinks, because they all work under him. So I think it's best that it comes from him himself, especially because if someone in the administration wants him to say something, they can just have that conversation with him. I don't think he just shouldn't be doing this too often, but I obviously don't think that's going to change.
Right.
What do you have to say?
No, no comment on that actually.
So hit the nail on the head on that pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do some M Live, even though this is more national news, not Michigan news. Should Obama pardon Chelsea Manning? We are both in agreement with this. Many people in the Intel community actually agree with pardoning her. She released a lot of information, but from what I gathered, nothing could have been dangerous to release. So no harm, no foul. And
what was in it? What was it about?
All I could gather in the brief time that I had to gather was it was just stuff about Iraq and what we were doing there. So I don't think anything like national security related, really just inhumanities and maybe some spying or something.
Yeah.
So hopefully they pardon her. She does not need to be in prison. She's tried killing herself 2 times. Well, the first time she was followed up with solitary confinement, which honestly would probably worsen that situation. But I don't know if she can get pardoned in 8 years or paroled. And I don't know how parole works, but if she can get out sooner than 35 years, that'd be great because
she's a hero.
Yeah, she's a hero and does not need to be dealt with. So international news. Why is it always Poland that seems to have troops always just thrown in there or invaded?
Yeah. So Poland, of course, just received the fat new troops of about 35,000 of U.S. troops, 2,800 tanks, and they are going there because the Polish feel like Russia is being super aggressive right now, and with a supposedly pro-Trump or like pro-Putin president, it would seem they aren't too happy about that because they feel like he might let them invade Poland maybe, or the Baltic, or Romania, or I don't know, Bulgaria. Yeah. So this whole like Russophobia continues, of course, and of course, like we said before, like Putin is not a good guy. He's not like a good state leader. But like you can't just like rule or like control everyone's actions, and you have to like work within the realms of like common sense and like diplomacy, and you can't always like try and actually like force it or like solve it with arms and troops and bombs. And as I say that, it sounds so much like I'm a hippie, but I'm not. And like you have to actually like see like what progress you can make with Russia without being so aggressive all the time militarily. And this like clearly shows that not not only does Republicans, but actual Democrats as well, and like multiple European countries want a more like hardline stance against Putin, and they do have a valid complaint, of course, him invading Georgia a while back, him actually what you call it, annexing Crimea. So like they have valid concerns, but like how they actually address those concerns and how like they always look to us to actually solve their problems, as I said before, I don't like, because at the end of the day, are they do they actually believe that Putin is going to invade the Baltic states? What do you think?
I don't know enough about Putin. It seems like he would want to, but it's not like his economy is the greatest to begin with. So if like he does anything like that, and then he ends up getting himself into a war situation, it's not like he's a very strong country. So it's not like one of the strongest countries in the world still, but pales in comparison to the United States, really. So I guess we'll have to see. It's hard to say a wait and see approach would be very good for this because You don't want people to get hurt.
Right.
But I don't know what his plans are. They have enough land. That country's huge.
Right.
Most of it's wasteland, but it's too big anyways. So I don't know. I really don't know what his fascination is with being aggressive. But he needs not be president of the country anymore. But Mr. I'm an indefinite president because I can be.
To the gulag, you go.
To the gulag. I screwed up earlier, and we skipped your Detroit land bank.
Oh, okay. So
last Michigan bit of news, and then I'll be pretty much wrapping up a little earlier. But
okay, so round 3, the Land Bank Authority, which, like I said last time, is being investigated by the Federal Bureau of Investigations for the actual bidding on buildings to demolish, and who gets those contracts is being investigated. And so the actual Land Bank Authority's director of demolition, what's her name on there?
Carol Vasquez.
Yes, she resigned over this, and she was one of the 14 people whose files is being subpoenaed right now for investigation, like in terms of their actual voicemails and their actual schedules and their actual email files. And this like really just shows you like how much like we like think the city of Detroit is getting better with all the actual
investment.
Yeah, like investments and stuff.
People migrate
downtown and like midtown, and like like it's a young wave of like workers that are moving downtown, highly skilled now, but at the same time, like the problems of like the everyday people of the city are not being addressed, I feel like, and are not being looked at as much as, I don't know, Midtown is, and downtown is. And I feel like the actual climate of like how things are being done is quite the same as how they were done under Kwame Kilpatrick. So that's always a bad thing. That's always a bad thing. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. So yeah.
Scratch my back now.
So yeah. Stay tuned on that, folks.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that you've been keeping up on that. It's important. That's all we have to say this week. 43 minutes, and I thought we were going to talk a lot longer.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Let's kind of just buffer a little bit and talk a little bit extra. So with news done, why? I'm sure a lot of you are asking why a lot of things weren't actually covered. We've been trying to intentionally do a lot of things where we don't cover something that we personally feel like has been covered a lot, or it's been beaten to death already.
Right.
Like the Russian probe is getting really beaten to death, but there's a lot of developments with that, so we might as well bring it up, just because, I don't know, it intrigues me a little to see how that goes. And I just think, like another thing, like Jeff Sessions, there was so much about him.
Yeah,
we didn't go over any of the other confirmation hearings. I kind of wish we should have probably went over DeVos a little bit, because I didn't hear a lot about what she had to say and how her hearing went.
Who?
Betsy.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So like, I don't know. That's potentially a mistake of mine. As we said earlier in the video, we want to start we're going to move this to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because if you're on the West Coast, I don't know if we get any fans out there. It's 8 p.m. for y'all, 9 p.m. for Central. So that's it's the end of your day at that point. Even I was open for 9 p.m. for West Coast, but I really thought about the late night shows, and a lot of people watch those. So we don't want to be in direct competition with anything that is gonna kind of screw us a little bit, and because we're not as cool as Saturday Night Live maybe or whatever. I don't know.
Not yet, at least, though, you know.
I mean, maybe one day that'd be cool. Maybe I'll end up doing this instead of going finishing my degree. No, I'm kidding. That's probably not gonna happen. That'd be kind of cool. But so that's pretty much all I had to say about that. I do want to start doing gaming news a little bit. That would be kind of cool. I don't know if I do that throw this at the end of this show every time, or how I would do it. You know, Nintendo Switch came out this week. That would have been cool to kind of talk about. I did not think about that, and I guess I could talk about it. I'll ramble on a little bit about that. Switch kind of looks cool. Those Joy-Cons that attach to the side, those are like independent controllers. What's crappy about that? Them boys are $70. $70 for just that little thing. Like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. That's nah. If I can buy the Pro controller, the whole controller, that's a nicer controller than the Joy-Con controller that's independent, for 60, that Joy-Con should be like $40 to be fair. We'll cut $30 off the 70. Like, come on now. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because Nintendo's terrible about having whatchamacallit, a lot of products at launch. They're pretty bad about that. I wish they were better about it. Unfortunately, like, I screwed up. I'm not going to get the Switch in time, potentially. I'm going to kind of prowl and look. I don't know. I'm still very debating about it because it's just disappointing. The lineup looks straight. It could be better. Breath of the Wild is going to be amazing. I think it's ridiculous if they're putting vanilla Skyrim on there, and Skyrim's been beat to death, for real, like, too beat to death. Like, no one wants to play that game anymore. Actually, I know tons of people who play that game too much still. I'm like, why? Why? Tell me why. Why? So, I don't know, there's that. There's going to be some JRPGs on there. That's going to be tight. I like JRPGs. I've been getting those a little more. If you ever catch me on Twitch, I'm always streaming Final Fantasy VII.
I have no idea what he's talking about. He's
I know,
such a nerd.
I'm just rambling at this point. But I don't know. We'll see.
Awful.
We'll just see. I think things will get a little bit better for that Switch. Hopefully, some better launch titles come out.
Right.
I think there's gonna be like a Rayman game or a Sonic game that's coming out. Oh, Sonic.
That's gonna be dope, cool. Of course. Sonic's always dope, you know.
That new Mario game looks really fun.
Right there, so yeah.
Mario's like traveling to like different worlds now. He's like in a real life. It's like a platformer as usual. His hat's alive now. It's kind of a weird concept.
Alive?
Yeah, his hat literally is alive. His eyes and shit, it's crazy.
Okay.
And you can like throw it out now, and you can jump on it.
Someone has took entirely too
much LSD.
Mini mushrooms.
I wonder if that's doing on the video.
No, there's a lag time.
No, but there's kind of like a flicker down here. That I need to fix the resolution. That is why I'm kind of randomly about video quality. But oh well. That's something y'all don't need to be concerned about. So we'll see how this Switch develops. And I don't know. I need to plan this out a little bit better. We were a little more unprepared today.
Right.
It did go very smooth though.
Yeah.
We were able to go through everything real clean compared to the first one. Second one was still really good. I felt like. Other things that I want to talk about real quick would probably just involve. Actually, I don't think about things to talk about now. But if any fans that we don't have yet come across our stuff and want to hit us up about it and talk some more about any suggestions, it'd be great. I'm going to be doing some interviews soon here. I'm just going to be probably handling interviews one-on-one because it's a little easier since I know all the tech stuff, and due to time constraints, I'm going to be doing the interviews outside of the show time. I'm going to just record them and post them separately. So that'll be coming up soon. I'm going to do the college Democrats president at WMU, my buddy Jake. I'm his vice president. I'm gonna interview him soon. He's the vice chair of Kalamazoo County Democratic Party, so he's gonna, kind of give some insight on some local politics that are going on. That'll be pretty cool because I really like Jake. Obviously, I'm his vice president. I helped him out a bit, along for the rest of our e-board. And I think he would be kind of cool to have on here. He's a political science major. He has a lot to say. And then I am hoping to interview the College Democrats Federation's president and vice president of the whole state. I asked them today about it. They seemed interested. So that'll be a kind of cool interview. I don't know what their entire roles are. I think it's going to be pretty much the point of the interview. I'm going to learn about their job so that you guys can learn about their job. And that will kind of translate. to like what you would expect these people to do in other states. One of them is actually, if I recall correctly, hope memory's serving me right now, she is the president of the whole country's Federation of College Democrats. So I'll be able to talk to her about that. Her vice president, he is going to be on Gretchen Whitmer's campaign, who is running for governor here in Michigan. She started really early, but that's I read something about her talking about how she wanted to be prepared for. She wanted to start now because she wants to be prepared for the enormous task of how big our state is and the diversity of like not necessarily people, but diversity of thoughts. Because you have rural Michigan, you have like West Michigan is very different from East Michigan. The north side of the Lower Peninsula is very different from the whole state, even. Ann Arbor and Lansing kind of have their own cultures going on. The UP is an entirely different beast. So she wants to be very prepared for that. I can respect that. So I want to interview him to learn more about her and his role because he's doing something about like youth leadership for a campaign to get youth engaged. So we'll see how that goes. There's no one else running yet, so we'll see. But I think that's all I have to say today. Aaron's pretty cashed out on things. I imagine. You good?
I might have some of my fellow YouTubers who do their own like little political shows on like more like I want to say like cultural things and like how they affect our politics. So yeah,
What
stay
did you
tuned for
say?
that. I might like what you got.
Interview?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Then
like in
I can
post
get it.
like on our pages some like interviews of people on the what you got on the cultural side of YouTube. Seeing how like that affects our politics and our what you got everyday lives. So look forward to that.
Okay, for sure.
Baby kid.
So YB YellowBuckets, baby, get out.